Every night your dog makes a decision, and it's not about comfort. It's about you. Not the bed, not the warmth, not the blanket. He chooses you. You might think it's just habit, just routine, just a sweet little thing he does at bedtime. But look closer. Feel it. That moment when he presses into your back, exhales slowly and suddenly. The silence in the room feels different. There's a reason he does this every night. A reason that blends instinct with memory science with something far older. A reason we rarely talk about until now. Because what follows isn't just a bedtime routine. It's the real story behind why your dog sleeps with you every night. And just 2% of that story, he's syncing his breath with yours, matching your heartbeat, keeping watch over the one thing that matters most. So stay close. What begins in silence ends with something deeper than sleep. Number 1, the night watcher. You think he's asleep, curled tight back, rising and falling. But somewhere beneath the rhythm of breath and fur, something ancient is wide awake. Your dog may be still, but make no mistake, he's watching, not with his eyes, but with something deeper. A muscle memory carried from wolves beneath the stars when silence wasn't safety and every shadow was a maybe. He doesn't press his back to yours by accident. That's a post, a position, a perimeter. And you're what he's guarding. It's easy to forget that under the soft ears and sleepy sighs lives an animal shaped by survival. When the lights go out, that part of him steps forward, quiet, devoted, unshakable. That's why you feel something shift when he curls beside you. Not just warmth, not just comfort. Something else harder to name, but impossible to ignore. Like being chosen, like being protected. And here's what most people never notice: he always wakes before you do. Every sound, every creak, every whisper of wind, he hears it first. He doesn't move. He doesn't bark. But you can feel it. The alertness just beneath the surface. That quiet tension, not of fear, but of readiness. Because to him, night isn't rest, it's duty. And lying beside you isn't sleep, it's watch. And if that alone brings you peace, wait until you learn what happens when your heartbeat begins to echo his. Because that, my friend, is where the healing begins. Number 2, the rhythm that heals. At first it just feels nice, his body against yours, soft, warm, familiar. But stay there long enough and something strange begins to happen. Your chest rises, his follows, his breath slows, yours matches. You think you're just getting sleepy, but what's really happening is alignment. Not just physical, but emotional. Like 2 old clocks slowly falling into the same tick. Science calls it emotional co-regulation. But that's such a cold word for something so deeply human. Or maybe more than human. Because when you're restless, he settles you. When your thoughts race like storm clouds, he lays there still as earth. And somehow your chaos softens. Without trying. Without talking. Just by being there. It's not just a cuddle. It's medicine in motion. Healing disguised as habit. And maybe you've noticed it, how the nights feel longer when he's not beside you. How your mind won't quit, your breath feels tight. That's not coincidence. That's the absence of rhythm. Because your dog doesn't just sleep beside you. He pulls you into a pace your body remembers, but your mind forgot. It's the pace of the pack, of wolves under moonlight, of breathing together beneath danger and surviving another night. And here's where it gets even deeper. When your body mirrors his, when your heart follows his lead, that's not comfort. That's imprinting. That's your nervous system learning safety again. So yes, sleeping with your dog feels good. But behind that softness is something far more powerful, a language without words, syncing breath to breath, heart to heart. And if that rhythm can soothe your stress, what else might it be healing that you can't yet see? Because where rhythm begins, memory often follows. Number 3, the grief healer. Grief doesn't always shout. Sometimes it sits quietly at the edge of your bed like an old coat you can't throw away. It lingers in the silence after loss, the kind of silence that settles in when a spouse is gone, when the phone stops ringing, when the world gets a little too still. And then He jumps up, your dog. He curls into that same space where the weight of someone else used to be. And suddenly the silence isn't so loud. The bed isn't so empty. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't try to fix anything. He just is. Steady, warm, present. That presence is not just company. It's a lifeline. For many, it's what pulls them through the nights they once dreaded, the nights that felt like reminders of everything and everyone they've lost. Because dogs don't try to take pain away, they do something more powerful. They hold it with you. They absorb it. They lie beside the ache, unafraid of what it means. For widows, for widowers, for anyone who's buried a piece of their heart, a dog curling up beside you isn't just sweet, it's sacred. And science backs it too. Dog-assisted therapy has been shown to lower symptoms of depression, anxiety, even PTSD in older adults. But ask anyone who's lived it, and they'll tell you the numbers don't matter. It's the feeling, that tiny shift when you realize you're no longer sleeping alone. Maybe you've felt it too. That sigh that escapes before you even know you're breathing. That moment your chest finally softens because he's there. He always is. And if his presence can hold grief, could it also protect memory? Because that's where we're going next. Number 4, the memory keeper. There's something strange about memory. It slips through fingers, not all at once, but slowly, like morning fog leaving the fields. You forget where you put your keys, then a name, then a season. And somewhere between forgetting and trying to remember, you feel a quiet fear creep in. But your dog doesn't forget. Not your voice, not your scent, not the sound of your footsteps coming down the hall. And when he sleeps beside you, something begins to shift. He becomes your anchor, your daily rhythm, the living timeline that helps your body and your brain remember what it feels like to be needed, to be known. Because dogs don't just love you, they recognize you, day after day, night after night. And that recognition becomes medicine, a kind of quiet reminder to your nervous system you are still here. And here's the part most people miss. Recent studies show that dog ownership, especially in older adults, is linked to slower cognitive decline. Why? Because having a dog means you move, you walk, you talk, you touch, you engage with the world even on the days you'd rather not. And when night comes and he curls into his usual place, your body relaxes. Your brain lights up in the glow of routine, of purpose. He becomes the thread that keeps the days from unraveling, the pulse that keeps time when everything else begins to blur. So if grief breaks your rhythm, he helps restore it. And if memory begins to fade, he holds a version of you that even you might forget someday. But what if in the middle of all this healing there was a cost, something small, almost invisible, but very, very real? Because not all comfort is without consequence. Number 5, the unseen wake-up call. It feels like you slept through the night, but something's off. You wake up foggy, slower than usual. Your coffee doesn't hit like it used to. You blame your age, maybe your meds, maybe the weather. But what if it's none of those? What if it's him? Not in a bad way. He's still curled beside you, same spot as always, warm and loyal. But beneath the comfort, beneath the heartbeat sinking and the quiet watchfulness, there's something you don't feel happening. Tiny shifts, a paw twitch, a sigh, a soft repositioning of his back legs. You don't fully wake, but your brain stirs. Like ripples on still water, every movement he makes sends a message to your nervous system: stay alert. You don't even realize it. That's the tricky part. You think you slept well. But deep sleep, the kind that repairs, restores, rebuilds, happens in stillness. And your dog? He's not still. Not really. He dreams, he adjusts. He listens for things you can't hear. And every time he moves just a little, your body hears him before your mind does. Sleep researchers call it micro-arousals. Moments so brief you won't remember them. But string enough of them together night after night, and they wear you down. Like soft waves against a cliff. It's not his fault. He's doing what dogs do, keeping watch. But now the question becomes, how do you hold on to the comfort without losing the rest you truly need? Because the answer isn't to push him away, it's to make a shift. One small change that can give both of you the peace you've been trying to share. And that's where we go next. Number 6, the balance of love. Love is heavy, not always in weight, but in presence. And when your dog lies against you, you feel it. Not just the warmth, but the meaning. It says, I'm here. You're not alone. I choose you, even in the dark. But sometimes even love leaves a mark, not on the heart, on the body. Because that familiar pressure against your spine might be keeping you from sinking into the kind of sleep that repairs you. His leg might twitch just as your brain tips into dreaming. His breath might shift right when yours starts to deepen. And this creates a quiet tug-of-war. Your heart needs him close, but your body needs space to rest. You might not want to admit it. You might feel guilty just thinking it. But here's the truth. No one tells you you can have both. You can keep the ritual, the rhythm, the nightly bond. You can let him feel near without having him right on top of your joints or nerves or fragile back. Some find peace by guiding their dogs to sleep at their feet. Others place a soft bed right beside theirs, close enough to hear breathing, far enough to reclaim stillness. And some simply adjust blankets, pillows, habits until the shape of the bed becomes a shared map of comfort. It's not about distance, it's about design. Not about less love, just smarter love. Because your dog doesn't need your bed to know he belongs. He only needs one thing to feel that wherever he sleeps, he's still close enough to guard your dreams. And yet even in that closeness, there's one more layer we haven't talked about. Something almost invisible. Something carried in with the fur, the breath, the body. It's not about what your dog does. It's about what he brings. And that's what we'll face next. Number 7. The hidden passenger. You can't see it. You can't hear it. But every night when your dog climbs into bed, he brings something with him. Not out of malice, not on purpose, just by being a creature of the world. Because fur carries stories, tiny particles of where he's been, what he's touched, what the wind left behind on his back. Dander, dust, pollen, bacteria. Invisible passengers hitching a ride into your sheets, your pillows, your breath. For most people, it's nothing. A harmless breeze through a cracked window. But for others, especially those with tender lungs, aging hearts, or weakened immune systems, those tiny particles can whisper trouble. It might begin with a cough, a tighter breath, a chest that doesn't quite expand the way it used to. And because it's slow, almost imperceptible, you rarely blame the one you love most, because how could you? He's not the danger, he's the comfort, the warmth, the heartbeat that lulls you to sleep. And that's the paradox. The same presence that brings peace might also bring risk. But this isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because when you understand what travels with him, you can make small changes, nothing drastic, nothing cold, that protect your health without ever breaking the bond. Clean paws before bedtime, a separate blanket just for him, a simple air purifier humming quietly in the dark, little shifts that honor both love and longevity. Because what your dog offers each night is priceless, and with just a little care you can make sure nothing uninvited rides along. So when he curls beside you tonight, let it be what it's always meant to be, not just habit, not just heat, but a sacred space, a choice. And now, as we return to where this journey began, there's only one truth left to tell, the one that lives beneath every breath, every heartbeat, every silent vow. It's time for the final reason, the one that holds all the others in its arms. Number 8, the final vow. There are no words, no bark, no whimper, no sound. And yet every night, as your dog curls into that same familiar place against your back, by your feet, beneath the crook of your arm, he is speaking. He says it in silence, in weight, in warmth, in the way his breathing slows once yours does, in the way he refuses to sleep anywhere else. And what he's saying is simple. You are my pack. You are my home. I will not leave you, not even in sleep. It's the same promise wolves once made beneath open skies when sleeping close wasn't a luxury, it was survival. Back then, every body in the circle meant safety. Every sigh in the night meant you're still here. Your dog doesn't remember the forest, the chase, the cold. But his body does. His instinct does. And every night that old vow wakes up in him again. So when he curls beside you, he isn't just finding comfort. He's giving it. He's choosing you not out of need, but out of loyalty, out of love, out of something deeper than either word can reach. And even when your sleep is light, even when age weighs heavier than rest, you still smile at the weight pressed against your side. Because deep down, you know what it means. It means you are never truly alone. Not in the dark, not in the silence, not in the moments when the world feels distant. Every night he chooses you, again and again and again. And that is the final vow. Number 9, the closing silence. And now, the house is still again. Just like at the start, the lights are low, the blanket soft. You're breathing steady. And that familiar weight, that quiet, loyal shape curled beside you settles into place like punctuation at the end of a sentence. You've heard the science. You've felt the memories. You've walked through the rhythm, the risk, the healing, the vow. And maybe tonight when he presses into you again, you'll feel it differently. Not as a habit, not as comfort, but as something sacred. Because every night your dog is doing far more than sleeping. He's choosing you, over and over again, through grief, through aging, through silence, through time. He doesn't waste love. He spends it, fiercely, without hesitation, without words. And maybe that's why, even on the nights when your sleep is light, when your bones ache, when your thoughts wander, you still reach back in the dark and smile at the warmth against your spine. Because somewhere in that soft body is a promise you are not alone. Not tonight, not ever. That's the miracle. That's the secret most people never slow down enough to feel. But you did. You watched. You listened. You stayed. And if this journey reminded you of your own dog, if it made you breathe a little deeper tonight, then don't let it end here. Tell me, where does your dog sleep? What does he do when the lights go out? Share it in the comments. Your story might be the very thing someone else needs to feel a little less alone. And if you want more moments like this, more truth, more wonder, more science wrapped in fur, hit subscribe. We're not done. We're just getting started. One night, one breath, one bond at a time.